To Nancy's Neighborhood, folks, and it's good to be back with you. And I've tried to do my fall colors. I believe this is called pumpkin.
Smash pumpkin.
Smash pumpkin. And in case you all didn't recognize that voice, we have the infamous Dwight Richardson back on with us today to talk to some more with us about spirits, legends, and lore. And he's brought with him Judy Baker, who is one of the Cleveland Storytelling Guild members. In fact, she's probably the person that actually started this Cleveland Storytelling Guild. And so welcome, folks. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
So Judy is going to be a storyteller at the event, and Dwight is going to be the MC.
Judy is a charter storyteller for this event.
Okay.
She has been with us from the beginning.
And that is how many years?
11.
Oh, that's just unbelievable to me. And
11
I'm not
years.
saying you're not telling the truth, but that's just unbelievable.
I didn't fabricate that. It really is
Well,
11 years.
and you are noted for fabricating, but 11 years, and so that means it's a good, staunch, well-recognized,
Right.
well-received event in our
Every year
community.
is different.
Yes.
And, you know, there are similarities, but basically every year is different. And Judy is credited for tweaking or writing or whatever a lot of these stories that we tell every year. And we'd be in trouble without her because I've written a story once before and it took her 3-4 days to kind of knock mine down and fix it and misspell words and grammar.
Surely not.
She had to do it all. I thought it was really a great story and she got a hold
Did
of
you?
it. And,
Well, did we end up even telling it?
I think we
I
did,
think
but
we
I don't remember
did.
what we did.
I don't. Maybe it was such a bad
I don't
experience.
remember.
We
It
both
was such a
blocked it
bad
out.
experience. She's wiped it out. From
I love
memory.
it. I love it. So Judy, let me ask you honestly now. You actually take real stories, or have you all made up some of these stories?
Oh, there's got to be a little kernel of truth, or you
Okay.
wouldn't believe them at all.
A little kernel of truth. I love it. And then you embellish that little kernel of
We
truth.
embellish it till
We
it
just, we just
hollers.
embellished a little. That's
Just right. I can only imagine. All right. So how many storytellers do we have?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 storytellers and a musical number.
Yes, and that would be Mr. Poteet.
And this year we have Dan Buck. He'll be telling the Stamper Ghost. And
Okay,
he's
now
gonna be
that's a
telling
pretty.
this from a different standpoint.
Oh, okay.
And I won't give a whole lot because I don't know how much time we have because I could get to talking about this stuff.
I know,
but-
and we want to sell tickets.
But there was a lady that called me from Alabama and had been up to Cleveland, went in Stampers, and had an encounter with the ghost.
Ooh.
And went down to Cafe Roma and happened to have mentioned it to the server. And the server said, "Have you not heard about Stamper Ghost?" Well, then I get this call from her telling me about her experience. And you don't know these days who you're talking to.
That
I
is
thought,
true.
this is somebody pulling my leg, or this is somebody
Right.
that's crazy. I'm not going to get into this. But the more I researched it, that she was legitimate. Anyway, we're telling it from a visitor standpoint this year.
Okay.
So it's going to be quite unique.
That will be interesting.
It will be.
And Judy, you're telling again this year, and which story are you telling?
I'm telling one about apples.
Oh, yes, because you did the vampire chair last year, because I've been looking all over my house to be sure I don't have that chair, okay?
You got to watch where you see it.
I know, and I don't want to have that chair. So do I want to have those apples?
You want to watch out where you get your apples.
Okay,
from.
okay. All right, very good. Okay,
The growly apples.
growly.
Growly.
Are they going to growl at me?
It depends on which tree you pick them off of.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. And I'm so sorry I'm not going to be here. I hate that I'm going to miss this. Okay, so we got Judy's doing the growly apples, and Dan is doing the Stamper Ghost.
Stamper Ghost.
What else have we got
Pete
going?
Vanderpool is doing the Spec Hospital.
Okay.
We've done that one before, and that's an interesting story because a lot of people in Cleveland was born in that hospital. And Judy's put a twist to it that makes it kind of eerie, and it's a great story. The
Okay.
the Spec
Connie
Hospital.
Gatlin originally.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
sorry. I thought you
Wrote
did
the-
that one too. See,
No.
she's done so many, it's
I
hard
know,
for me to keep
I
them all
know.
straight.
I know.
Connie did it, and we just kind of
Tweaked it? Okay.
Yeah.
refreshed it a little bit. That's all it
Okay.
needs.
And the Spec Hospital is no longer is the building still here?
No. It's a back parking lot where behind Bank of Cleveland. That was where the Spec
Oh,
Hospital was.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it's totally
All
gone.
right. So
It's parking
I
lot
remember
now.
Flav was talking about the Spec
Yeah.
Hospital, but he wasn't born there. He was born at home. So
Rob
anyway.
Alderman has got a Copper Hill story
Yeah.
that Judy has fabricated up. So what's a little bit about that?
It's very interesting. It's actually the bravest man in the mine. And I got some online research about it. and couldn't get a whole lot. So here's one where a little bit of embellishment and a little bit of historical fact comes in about the copper that's there and why it was important and why people were in the mines.
Okay.
So it's
And that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds very good.
Well, Copper Hills is a great historical thing for our area.
Absolutely.
So, especially since Julius Rott lived here in Cleveland, he owned all the copper mines, so it
Right.
makes a good story.
And it does make a good story. And he lived right close to where the museum is
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
So, okay.
Connie Gatlin's going to be telling The Day Cleveland Cried, which
Yes.
is a very sad story.
It is, and it's a very true
100%
story.
true story about Will Marshall and Will Steed and John Hardwick in 1889 headed to Paris, France to see the Eiffel Tower dedication, and they met fate before they got that far. So it's a sad story.
Very sad.
And it's there's a book written about that, is where a lot of this story has
Okay.
come from. This may have been the story that I had messed up so much that you had to do. I'm
yeah,
not sure.
it may be in. It may have been.
I'm getting hot.
The thing about that one is there's so much wonderful information in
Yeah.
the book about it
Yeah.
that it's hard
Making
to
it-
condense it
Yes.
It is.
and make it entertaining and still retain the spirit of the
Yeah.
story.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Then we're going to go back to the folklore. This is one of our favorite tales, Bloodstains on the Mausoleum. Deborah Nair in Holland does a fabulous job
She
on
does.
that. I think
she-
I mentioned last time she wrote this little eerie song,
and
and
she comes in
she does a
singing
great
it.
storytelling
She
on
comes
that.
in singing the little
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
And what I like about this, and I'm kind of digressing a little bit, but I'm assuming you're going to do it the way you've done it before. Spotlight the one person.
Yes.
Each person will have their own little vignette
Yes.
that they're standing in to tell
Yes.
their story, and then we'll black
Yes.
out.
Yeah, it's
And
all
they'll
about
leave,
them at
and
that one
that's
time,
right.
yes.
And I
Yeah.
think that's great. That's
Yeah.
what makes it
Be
so.
limited props. That makes it better because you hear the story more than you watch the props. But
It makes it
it's gonna
easier
be
for you
great.
too. You don't have to set up
That's
with
right.
those
That's
props.
exactly right.
And that's a good move on your part.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, Deborah, also telling the story, you might have seen things on Facebook recently about Bloodstains on the Mausoleum again, but it's a folklore story.
Right.
You know, we've embellished that a lot. There is fact there, but then there's some fiction.
Right.
Also, I don't know if you've seen, I think the last few days, I don't remember the guy that had it, was on like Cleveland History or one of those Facebook posts about Cleveland, had the best picture of Nina Craigmont I've ever seen in my
It
life.
was a great
It was a
picture. I
beautiful
saw
picture.
that.
It was-
I
I
saw
had never
that.
seen that photo.
I
And
had
it
never
was-
seen a picture
Yeah,
of Nina
it was a great
Craigmont.
photo of her, and I
So
thought
it
that
was.
was
It
kind of
was.
interesting.
It was.
Tim Poteet will be singing "Bringing Mary Home." I wish you could have
Not
heard
driving
her
Miss
talk
Daisy
about
home.
this soon.
I mean,
Something
I'm
about
tell-
Mary or bringing
Driving Mary
Mary
home or
Yeah.
something. I don't know what it was. Anyway.
Well, it's a great song.
It is a great
and,
song.
It's also, you know, embellished some through the song, but it was done in the 50s by a bluegrass group, and we've just adapted it to our story. Tim does a good job
He
on
does a
that.
great job with it. Yes.
Let's see, I think I've got oh, I'm sorry,
Brandy.
Brandy King is telling the story in 1867 about a massive flood in Charleston along the Hiwassee River. And Dr. Brasmore owned a home, who was about the only doctor in that area. And the train happened to derail real close to his home. So he, you know, being a doctor, helped all these people. And there was a monk that helped him also during that time that was very useful and helpful. And this monk disappears. Nobody saw him. Then years later, the home, Dr. Brasmore's home, was sold to Dr. McClary. A lot of people will know or remember Dr. McClary. That's a real person. And in renovating that home, Brandy will tell a little bit about what was found in the home to make that story more believable. And I think we mentioned before, the good thing about it, Dr. McClary happens to be Brandy King's grandfather.
I think that's awesome.
And it is, you know, she's tickled to death to get to tell that story.
And see, the first time y'all did that story, I thought, oh my gosh, Dr. McClary's skeleton is going to be the monk. You know, that's what, in my mind as the story's being told. I'm thinking,
And it could be true, too.
I'm
never know.
thinking, oh my gosh, please don't let that be. So yeah, you're right. It could be.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyway, and then you have my boy Joe
We
Guy.
have one of your favorite all-time people in the entire
Absolutely.
universe.
Absolutely,
I
he is.
believe you were his school teacher. Is that correct?
Second grade.
And this is Joe Guy, Sheriff Joe Guy,
That's right.
who happens to be the sheriff of McMinn County.
Joey.
And he's going to be telling Murder at Spivey Cove Campground. And it's going to be fabulous.
and a lot of people out there that camp know where Spivey Cove is.
Yes, they do.
So this may stop you from ever
right.
pitching a tent there
That's
again.
right.
I don't know. But Joe's a fantastic storyteller. He's the historian for McMinn County.
Yeah.
And great young man. I'm very proud of. I have a lot of students I'm proud of, and Joe is one of them.
Yeah.
I have some others that have spent time in the state pen, but that's okay too. I mean,
Yeah.
So it's really not okay, but it's happened, okay? So I think this is going to be great. Now let's tell everybody where it's going to be, because
Right. You
we've
tell
done
them,
all
Judy.
this publicity and we want to be sure they get there.
It will be at the venue at Creekside, behind the Village Green, in the old theater there. There used to be a theater, and now it's a theater again. It'll be there. It begins at 6 o'clock. Is that right?
7.
7. That's right. We're only doing one show this time.
Right, right.
We're only doing one show. So get your tickets and show
where,
up.
and where do we get our tickets?
You can get them at Bank of Cleveland main office and at the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, and if you notice, we've got the sign up there right now on the screen, but we've all got our fans. And Dwight was real funny when he said, be sure you fan this way so people can read the fan, because if
That's
we
right.
fanned this way,
You can't see a thing.
You couldn't see a thing. So we've all got these fans. And Dwight was at the Main Street luncheon today, and he had handed out these fans and promoted this event there. So tickets are very reasonable, folks.
They're
They're
very
$10 and are $5.
It's a great show for that.
$5 for students.
$5 students.
Is there a break for seniors?
No.
No, I'm
No,
sorry,
seniors-
folks. There is no break
We
for
love the
seniors.
seniors, so they have to pay the same as
That
everybody
sounds
else.
good, because,
So
yeah.
even though I'm a senior, no break.
That's
no
okay.
break.
That's okay, because $10 is minimal. That's
And the
okay.
thing about breaks, there are no steps,
That is true.
easy parking. You're
Mm-hmm.
not going to have to worry about anything. You're a comfortable chair. You're just going to come in and enjoy the eating for $10.
Okay, Dwight, let me ask you this. Why did we start this?
We started this 11 years ago as an alternative to Halloween.
Okay.
We wanted we didn't want another haunted house. There's plenty of haunted houses.
Absolutely.
The trunk or treat thing, no, that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But and somehow or another, Judy and I got together, and I'd heard about these storytellers. I wasn't really excited about storytelling. I had never been to anything storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I'd heard about it, but I thought it's just people up talking. It really didn't mean a lot to me. And after talking with Judy and getting a little information, storytelling is such a art
Yes, it is.
that they pull you in, and the things they say pulls you in to listen to that, and your mind is what creates the story as much as what they're saying.
That's the reason
so,
I said that
yeah.
about the skeleton.
Yeah.
When the first time I heard that
Yeah.
story about the
Yeah,
monk.
you can just make
I
all
thought his
kinds of
skeleton's hanging. That's what's hanging in
know.
Dr. McCleary's. Anyway.
So that's how this started. And we started at the Bank of Cleveland downtown. If you've been in that bank, it's 3 stories plus a basement. Nobody had hardly ever been down in the basement. We told a story in the basement. You got those cinder walls and grit all over the floor, and it's just kind of spooky down in there because
I can imagine.
it's 5 or 6 times bigger than this room.
Right.
But the floor squeaked. It was all by candlelight. And the neat thing about in the start, we had a walking tour.
We did downtown.
We loved the walking tour, but after a couple, 3 years, we would put about 300 people, sometimes a night, through that thing, and then it would rain. Well, if it's raining, they're not going to come out.
No.
And I don't blame them.
I don't either.
You're not going to get wet. That's when the time had changed. Also, at that particular time, I believe, and the leaves were there. It just didn't work.
Right.
So as much as we hated to do it, we thought, let's bring this inside, and that's how we now wound up in it. We still love to do the walking tour, but
I know, but
you just never know about the
I
thing.
love the fact that you're in there and
Yeah.
you do the little vignettes
Yeah.
and you spotlight
Yeah.
each teller, and then it makes it a little eerie. I don't know, because
It's
it was
just
eerie the
different.
other
It's a
way
different
too. But
atmosphere.
yeah, it's just it's
And
different.
in the beginning, we gave to several charities. The Caring
Right.
Place, and I don't remember all that we did, but
Several.
it was several different charities we did. And we've had sponsors that have helped. Can I tell the sponsors real quick?
Yes, you may, because
Okay.
Lauren is.
Is he calling us?
Yes, she's saying. That's right.
Okay, Bender Realty
Yes.
sponsored these fans.
I
They're
think that-
in-kind sponsors.
and that is so
I
neat.
think they did 1,000 or 1,500, whatever
Okay.
it was. Wonderful on these, and thank you to Bender Realty.
Mm-hmm.
Many of you may have heard of a gift shop in town called the Red Ribbon. They are a sponsor, and the Red Ribbon owner will not be with us this year because
No.
she's going to Ireland.
Dang it,
but
I
she
hate it.
wants to sponsor anyway.
Yes,
and
I
we
did.
thank you for that.
Yes, I did.
Bank of Cleveland's a sponsor. We got to have them. Check Into Cash is a good sponsor.
Yes.
The Audubon Group is a
Yes.
sponsor. They helped us get the venue and paying for the venue, and thank you to Rob
Fantastic.
for that.
That's right.
Jimmy Logan of Logan Thompson is a sponsor, and that fabulous wedding event company called Fenimore's
Yes.
is a sponsor.
That is a fabulous company there. Thank you.
Who are they?
And the proceeds, all of the proceeds go to the Cleveland Storytelling Guild and the Allied Arts.
Right.
We split the money.
Right, and that's great. And this is an event sponsored by both of those organizations.
Yes.
And so that's awesome because it's what Allied Arts is supposed to be
Yes.
doing, and we're supposed
Yeah.
to be supporting people like the Storytelling Guild. And so that's what we're
Yep,
doing.
yep.
Thank you all so much for being on with me. I am so sorry I'm not going to be here. Tell everybody what day it is. It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday, the 29th, which is a week from tomorrow.
Okay, the 29th,
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, Village. And if you don't buy your tickets prior to, you can buy them at the door if there's any
there's seats
seating
available, you
left.
can,
Any
yes.
left.
But the fire marshal will only let so many people
Yeah,
in there,
yeah.
so
We'd encourage you to buy them early.
yes, to get them early. Thank you, folks,
Thank
for being
you.
on. Appreciate it so much. I love having y'all on. Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back with another Halloween event that's coming up, and it's a little different from what you may think of something that's happening Halloween evening. So don't go away. I'll be right back. Watch our sponsors and support our sponsors because they pay our bills. And I'll be right back.